when the Operation Paperclip was going, first it was called Overcast and then developed into Paperclip. As the Americans were taking over Nazi bases and finding out that there were bases right underneath their positions that they hadn't even known about, I understand that the Russians were able to take over a couple of the facilities in the Czechoslovakia region and the more Eastern European locations. What did the what did the Russians gather, according to your best information, that the United States and American allies and Western European allies did not recover, and how did that allow them to progress in deference to the U.S. program?
Well, it's technically anybody's guess what the Russians recovered, but we know for a fact that they got the jump on the swept-wing jet fighter interceptor concept in the form of the MiG-15. They were the first leaders of that. They obviously got some two-stage-to-orbit type designs. Very interesting air cannons were procured under that, and then whatever else was going on at the Skunk Works is some of the things that they recovered.
How did we get the Nazi program to the United States going, and what happened in New Mexico over the course of the 40s, and how did that influence the real takeoff of the aerospace program in the mid-50s?
Well, definitely after those Nazi scientists went to NASA, went to the aerospace companies, including Bell, some of them were filtered on to Fort Bliss, White Sands, and Wright Field. From there, it's possible that what crashed at Roswell was in point of fact not an alien device, but something buried deep within the Skoda works that eventually went to the United States. So that's a breakdown of where and how some of those programs got there.
And how do you account for, or do you not account for, any reports of alien bodies? The Roswell mortician claiming he saw them, and a number of other people claiming they had seen bodies. How would that interrelate into a U.S. military program as opposed to being, fitting in with an extraterrestrial hypothesis?
I think it's very important to never underestimate Air Force OSI. That's the Office of Special Investigations. They're the ones who head up the counterintelligence divisions for the Air Force, and these gentlemen, personnel, are absolute professionals. We should never underestimate their ability to lie, deny, and deceive. So what we think may have happened at Roswell may actually be something completely different. So it's important to keep that point in mind, definitely.
Do you have an extraterrestrial hypothesis that works in conjunction with your aerospace investigations, or do you are you leaning more towards the theories and hypotheses that all these crafts that people have been seeing over the last 60 years or so have been generally man-made?
There are no first-hand eyewitness accounts of anyone living currently of the bodies at Roswell. Everyone has passed on. There are no first-hand eyewitnesses that saw the bodies, so we cannot interview them. However, to state that every unknown UFO that we see in the skies is a man-made craft is inconsistent with the knowledge and the case files that we have going back to the Chinese, going back to the Romans. We've got case files of naval French officers where craft are being shot right through the ice, and particles and parts of the ice are going onto the bow of the ship, going into space and then breaking through the ice on the end of the parabola. This is years and decades, millennium before aircraft were invented here in this country. So again, that's not consistent with man-made craft whatsoever.
So what is your view as far as the extraterrestrial hypothesis? Is there something going on? What's the relationship between the military and leadership of the various governments of the planet? And is there any connection between, do they have secret knowledge about extraterrestrials that they're withholding it from us? And what do you think that is?
The military-industrial complex would like nothing more than a spaceship to land in Washington, D.C. and an alien to get out, because that would cover or hide their own deep black programs under the alien extraterrestrial theory. That's what they want people to believe. However, that does not discount the phenomenon in general, because this has been going on for thousands of years, and so again, it's not consistent with everything being a man-made craft.
How do we make that curve from the Wright brothers to landing on the moon in 60 years? Do you think